We all have to treat social media with a little bit more of a journalist's eye than what people think to treat social media as, you know? As a journalist, that like makes sense to me, but as an average social media user, like I wouldn't think about it like that. But we're all journalists these days, guys. If you use social media, treat it as such. Do we have a story to talk about today, guys? I'm just gonna get right into it. Okay, so you may remember the name of Mary Kate Cornett, an Ole Miss freshman who went viral back in February of this year. Her name made it everywhere on the internet, so much so that even a meme coin of her name was made. The Mary Kate Cornett coin surges by 654%. I mean, that went everywhere. Her name, like I said, was everywhere. Why, you might ask? Well, because according to anonymous users on the internet, she had slept with her boyfriend's dad. Which from the top, I'll just come out and say, horrible, if true, okay? The thing is, Mary Kate has now said on social media, but now on NBC News as of this week, it's not true and it ruined her life. So we're gonna watch some of that. We're gonna unpack all of this. I didn't cover this story back in February because, well, it felt like a rumor. And I know that those really suck to have them said about you. Maybe I've gotten soft in my old age. Maybe I've changed the way that I cover stories because I've had a lot of things said about me, as many of you probably know. And so I filter things a bit differently. So when I see something trending on X or some big podcaster talking about something, I don't immediately take it as fact. So I let this story just kind of pass on by the comment section, okay? But over on X, this story was top of the trending pages and even made its way onto ESPN and shows like the Pat McAfee show, which he briefly mentioned this drama on his show, though he never said her name.
Some Ole Miss frat bro.
Yep. Sure.
Okay. Had a KD girlfriend. Allegedly.
This is the story we know.
Allegedly.
At this exact moment, this is what is being reported by everybody on the internet. Dad had sex with son's girlfriend.
So I wanted to kind of go back and figure out where this story started. What was the source, the primary source, as we call it in journalism? What were those hard facts giving every keyboard warrior the confidence to further this story? A Yik Yak post, which if you're not familiar with what Yik Yak is, it was a social media site that was popular nearly a decade ago. When I was a senior in high school and a freshman in college, like that was an app that people would go on. You basically can go on and just post something anonymously, and then it's kind of location based. So it's used a lot on college campuses. You can just say something, and then other people in college will see that same thing. As I describe it, it just sounds like a toxic app. You just think, oh, it's going to be used for bad things, which it was. I think that's kind of why it died off. But it apparently revived itself in 2024, 2025, and there was a post made on Yik Yak, and within hours, it was everywhere on the internet. This was that first Yik Yak. It just simply said, all the alleged details and alleged pictures you need about this alleged story about a girl allegedly named Mary Kate who allegedly slept with her boyfriend's dad, allegedly. That is a lot of allegedlys, which immediately makes me go, maybe it's not true. How many allegedlys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 allegedlys on a Yik Yak. That was anonymous. And then the story just blew up. Quickly after that, her photos were attached to that story and then everywhere. In literally a matter of hours, she said. There's also another image that I saw circulating, again, from whatever this original story was, that I was trying to find what people used to even come up with this idea in the first place. And there was this Snapchat DM that was posted on social media. And I'm just going to read a little bit of this because I laughed at how stupid this sounds. And yet this was used, again, as like proof of what she did. This was on an X post that had over 1 million impressions of people talking about this story back in February. It says, so I'm like, I don't know if you heard this part, but so over like the break, or I can click right before the break started. Click? This doesn't even make sense. Mary Kate went home from school because I guess she like finished her exams early and went to go watch Evan's little sister in her basketball game and went with the dad. And then they dropped the sister off at home like after the basketball game, and they went to like dinner and drinks. And then they like, he was buying her drinks and stuff. And then like, I guess I need to keep going because this is primary source material. And then they like got with each other there or something. And then like that was the first time. And then like, I don't know, Evan, the boyfriend, found out. I hate reading this, but I know he did. And then he was like super upset about it. And then like Mary Kate like told him like she'll never do it again because she's like, I'm gonna stop there. Primary source material. This person sounds like a moron who wrote this. or said this, if this was transcribed. I don't freaking know. There's no way someone texts like that. And if there is, all the more reason, why did we use that as a primary source for this story? I was laughing out loud because I thought there's no way people believed that based on something like this. But they did. They did. It's stupid, but why does it matter? Because it hurt someone's real life. There's a lot of things that are not true on the internet, and sorting that out and trying to figure out is very difficult. Same within the wellness space. But here's something that's not up for debate. Our bodies simply weren't built to handle the constant stress, ultra-processed foods, and environmental toxins that we face every day. That is why I'm so excited about Armor Colostrum. It's basically nature's original superfood. It contains over 400 bioactive nutrients that work together to support your gut health, strengthen your immune system, help with hair growth, and boost your energy at the cellular level. So while we might not all agree about the latest wellness trends or cultural hot takes, feeling healthy and energetic is something that we all want. And Armor helps your body thrive in our modern world no matter what chaos is happening all around you or what is happening online. And most probiotics only target one part of your gut and arrive dead anyways. But Armor Colostrum works differently, supporting your entire gut wall system, balancing your microbiome, and strengthening barriers against irritants that cause bloating. Now, as I love to tell you guys about, Armor is so delicious. It tastes so good. I put it in all my cold drinks, just mix it up, and it's just... it's liquid gold. It is. It truly is. It's so sweet and good. And it always brings a smile to my face, even when the internet is being crazy. Now, I've worked out a special offer for my audience, so if you guys want to give this a try, you can get 15% off your first order. All you have to do is go to tryarmor.com/Conrad or enter code Conrad at checkout to get that 15% off your first order. That's tryarmor.com/Conrad today. The benefits from Armor Colostrum in my life are real. They are concrete. I have evidence, unlike this story around Mary Kate. When I first heard about this story and the extent that it was being covered, I figured there had to be some concrete evidence for a story like this to go so far, so fast. But no. I saw a couple Snapchats allegedly from her saying that she wanted to hook up with guys or whatever. Again, that doesn't make her this. I found nothing that was substantiated to be from her, about her, period. And maybe, so that should be enough to just not talk about some random college freshman and her hookups, especially the fact that they were not with the father. But of course, a story about a young, beautiful college freshman hooking up with her high school sweetheart's father, and then her boyfriend and her still staying together afterwards, was out there and people just ate it up. And just a few days after that original story went out, Mary Kate posted this statement on her Instagram denying all the allegations, but it didn't seem to even matter anymore. In her post, she posted a photo of herself and she said, "My name is Mary Kate Cornett, and I would like to discuss the events that happened over the past few days. First of all, this rumor is 100% completely false, and it is quite frankly inexcusable that such disturbing accusations went viral. During this difficult time, my family and I have been overwhelmed with support from people all over the country. Thank you, it mattered. I especially appreciate the support from those who know me well enough to know how ridiculous this is. It is important to note that harassment and bullying of this manner is never okay. Cyber attacks based on nothing but lies and misinformation happen all too often. This experience has awakened me to the dangers of how we all can be manipulated to believe things we read on social media that are not true. My hope is that I am able to use the heartbreak and pain that I have felt to help others that go through things like this in the future." I didn't even know that she'd ever said that because I never heard about that. I only heard about the story, but I never heard about the truth that then came from the person actually involved in the story, which is another big thing here, guys. That story, that little social media post won't go viral. So then all the people who posted about the original story, well, they won't post about that because that doesn't get them clicks. See the dangerous cycle here, guys? This is why this stuff matters. People didn't want to just let go of the narrative that had been created because, well, that's not as fun. That's not as interesting. Unlike the mainstream media, which, I hate for a lot of reasons, but when they do publish something that is objectively false, a lot of times they have to go back and correct it. Even though they won't announce they correct it like they do. But on social media, that level of accountability is not required of its users. Once you say something, you can't just take it back. And when some story is planted, that narrative just sticks. So while the rest of the world can just move along to the next trending story, the label stuck on you in the frenzy of rumors doesn't just suddenly fall away. Relatable, girl. Okay, anyway, so this week, Mary Kate decided to speak to NBC News to set her story straight and announce legal action that she plans to take. And here is a bit of that interview with NBC News.
Having the entire internet, half of the country hating you and calling you disgusting things, telling you to kill yourself, telling you that you're a horrible person, that you deserve to die, that's a really hard thing for a girl to go through.
Doesn't that really suck? Yeah, I know it does, Mary Kate. I know it does, girl.
In her first TV interview, Ole Miss freshman Mary Kate Cornett told me how she became famous on the internet and social media in the worst possible way. In February, an online rumor went viral, claiming an
There it
Ole
is,
Miss
the
sorority
allegedlys.
sister slept with her boyfriend's father. Then, someone attached Cornett's name and photo to it.
Do you know why the rumor started?
No clue. No clue. I had zero knowledge of this.
This disgusting rumor was a top trending topic on Twitter.
Within 2.5 hours. Later that night, around 7 p.m., I was #1 trending in the United States. I felt so helpless and so alone because so many people were hating on me for something that I had no idea anything about.
At 19. I think she was saying she was just walking around campus and people suddenly started looking at her differently. I mean, it's like out of a movie where like the rumors starting to go online and you don't even know about it. #1 trending on Twitter in America. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Cornett's phone number was also shared online. She was overwhelmed with harassing texts and voicemails.
She was swatted too. I mean, it got so intense so fast.
At 3 a.m. when I was throwing up while holding the phone with all of the texts on it. Just saying how horrible of a person I was and that I should end my life.
All because of an internet rumor.
All because of an internet rumor that has zero truth to it. Zero.
That's insane. I mean, to go from being a completely private person to that in hours. So then they go on to play the Pat McAfee clip and just how media started taking it, and then he asks her this.
Has anyone apologized to you?
No. No. They have not at all. I want these famous people to know that I was not famous before this. I'm not a public figure that you can go talk about on your show to get more views. I'm not. Sorry. Nobody knows who I am, or nobody did know who I was. But them pressing this and pushing it farther made my situation so much worse.
It like legitimizes it. It goes from it being some just internet troll, some Reddit post, whatever, to being like news. Because a lot of these accounts and these kind of they cover real news. So when they cover something like this, it brings it up to that level. That's why X users have to be careful about what they're posting, but especially people like Pat McAfee or anyone in the world that has a following that talks about real news too. You gotta treat it with a certain level of scrutiny, or else things like this will happen. And then that puts it on so many more eyeballs suddenly know about that drama and know about that story. And then it makes it 10 times worse for someone.
The people who were talking about it are the people that I would want to take a picture with if I saw it in public. They're people that I watched. Pat McAfee, ESPN, that's on my living room TV every single night.
That's gotta hurt that he's talking a bit that way.
It does, because I used to look up to these people, and now these same people are making me feel worthless. I don't think that these boys realize what they're doing to people. It's awful. It's awful. And having your life ruined by people who have no idea who you are is the worst feeling in the world. It makes you feel so alone.
It breaks my heart also watching that clip because I saw a bunch of comments like, oh, it's crocodile tears. She's lying. She just doesn't want to take accountability for her actions. It's like, there's nothing out there that's proving that she did this. She just has to defend against a rumor that doesn't actually have anything there to defend against. It's just this sort of like we were saying earlier about how do you prove something that doesn't exist didn't happen, other than simply saying it didn't happen and cry and be like,
Yeah, you can't prove a negative.
Yeah.
You can prove things do exist by providing evidence,
Yeah.
but how do I provide evidence for something that isn't real?
Yeah. I mean, I saw comments, some people like, well, I think I know her sorority sister and they say that she's super wild and crazy, or like they say she'd definitely do something like this. It's like, that's all he said, she said. There's no concrete facts. That's what we have to go back to. And especially, again, at the end of the day, we're talking about a girl's freaking sex life. Why is that even news to begin with? Obviously, if she did something like that, well, that's just morally and ethically and every kind of wrong that there is. But there's no freaking proof that she did anything like that. She's still apparently with her boyfriend that she was with in high school. And his dad and him are all horrified by this story. I mean, you Google her name and this story would pop up. She applies for jobs, it matters.
Cornett now wants justice. Her lawyer says she's been defamed and is a victim of cyberbullying.
The rumor is false. People promoted it without looking into it. You can't lie for money.
Are there laws that protect Mary Kate? Because it seems like the internet, social media, it's the wild, wild west.
To some degree, the law hasn't caught up with the speed at which a lie travels online and the fact that it's now kind of anchored to her name forever. But defamation exists. There's growing protections against cyberbullying. There's growing protections against, making fake pictures, which has also happened to Mary Kate. The legal regime is catching up.
I hear that from the lawyer, and I don't think that there's anything she can really do. What, you go after some random Twitter user that reposted this story they saw on Reddit? I think it's either confirmed or she's at least trying to make a lawsuit against ESPN. But he didn't say her name. He said allegedly when even talking about the story, and I think that probably covers his bases. So I don't think he's going to be able to be hit with any kind of lawsuit. Even the lawyer doesn't really sound like she knows for sure, because it is sort of the Wild West here. It's not like the New York Times reported this, that they could go after the New York Times, but literally an X user with 0 followers could report this. It could become #1 on trending from that tweet alone and be way more influential and impactful than a headline on the New York Times. So the balance is all out of whack, and the law then also doesn't really know how to handle this kind of thing. Now, someone over on X said, it seems like she's trying to keep this story going for a payday, as I doubt most people even remember it by now. I would say they do remember it, especially in her life. Like, again, the story doesn't just erase from her history. It's very fresh for her. This has only been a couple months. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that she looked into legal options and then is now trying to be like, well, I'm going to go on NBC News, a reputable news source, and really talk about this. I mean, that makes sense to me. Clearing her name on Instagram didn't work. It didn't go viral. Maybe this would, which is, again, why I want to talk about this today. Let's show this side of the story, because no one wanted to talk about this part. No one wanted to make this one go viral, but she wants this talked about. She wants the truth shared. Someone else said, just another example of the kind of trash that goes viral on social media. A 19-year-old girl's reputation is being dragged through the mud because of some baseless rumor. I think she said that she thinks it was some frat joke prank gone wrong, or some sorority girl angry. Like, you can just see how a catty little rumor, even happening on just Ole Miss, turns into a #1 story on X. I mean, it is a crazy story, especially if there's absolutely no truth to this, which it sounds like there is not. But some people still don't believe it because, again, it's out there forever. Someone said, women will keep a lie going till the day they die. She probably shouldn't have slept with her boyfriend's dad. Wealth Turtle, what? Again, I think there's a lesson here of, like, who's the person behind the tweet, you know? And trying to be like, okay, this person is not actually all that invested in the story. They say one funny thing because they think, haha, and they go about their life. But to the person on the receiving end, it can be everything that you think about. Another person said, this is the danger of raw information being dumped into a sea of people who fight for impressions. Hopefully she gets compensated for this. And again, I don't think she'll get compensated necessarily monetarily for this. Maybe, I don't know the laws. Again, I'm not a lawyer, maybe, but I don't think that she will. But at least she's bringing awareness to this at large. And it's also kind of a good slap on the wrist to big accounts who talk about these kind of things to, again, check themselves before they're just regurgitating the content that everyone else is talking about. It's a good check for myself as well, that I want to make sure that I'm covering stories that actually has some gravitas to it and has truth to it. The beauty and the curse with platforms like X or heck Yik Yak is that anyone can say anything. And in many ways, people who cover stories online are now a new form of journalists, whether they have that background or not. Whether it's some small X account with no followers or a huge YouTuber, everyone has the power to share truth on their platforms, but also start or perpetuate a lie. So we as social media users, as content creators, need to be careful the way that we wield that power. It's all fun and games until people's real lives get hurt. Hopefully this story simply serves as a reminder for people to think before you hit publish and jump on a smear campaign just to get some clicks. And for the sake of Mary Kate, I hope that everyone who covered the lie about her will now cover the truth. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. And last but not least, if you want more content, you can also follow me on my personal accounts, as well as our new comment section Instagram. See you guys in the comments.